And welcome back to my festive mission to get 1,000 points of High Elves painted for the old world before Christmas. Today's lesson is going to be today's part of the project is going to be gold armor. So like I showed you in my previous video, the kind of color scheme I'm going for is kind of a blue and gold styled color scheme spread in kind of varying degrees across the army. The Swordmasters in particular, they're going to have gold cuirasses, gold kind of bracers, gold helmets, and therefore lots of gold is required. I'm going to crack off, first of all then, with a pot of a Retributor armor. This is kind of my go-to basing paint when it comes to painting gold. And I am just going to quickly slather this all over the shoulder pads, the breastplate, kind of the little greaves on the thighs. I don't know if that's quite the correct term. Someone perhaps can let me know in the comments down below. But this is going to pair really nicely with the blue steel armor that we painted on the first day of this one. It does begin to feel a little bit like a Christmas carol. The first day of Paintmas, I painted myself some steel. No, that doesn't quite work. I promise I won't sing. I promise I won't sing much. But that's going on really nicely. Let's get these bracers on the forearms done. Also going to paint the trim around the edge of that kind of scale mail gold. Again, if you want to see what the kind of colour scheme I did on the tester model looks like, that was featured in the first video. Not worrying overly if I go over onto the cloth on this, because I will be fixing that when I get to painting blue cloth, which funnily enough will be the next video that we are doing on this. Awesome. Right, I'm going to let this dry. While that's drying, I will do a few more, but here is a quick close-up of the finished gold. Well, the base coated gold. Now that that gold's dry, on to the next step. Nice and simple. Quick coat all over the Retributor armor using Agaros Dunes contrast paint. This dulls it down a little bit and kind of just provides shade to all the recesses without really changing the color too much. So I'm going to quickly blitz over that, again, being really careful so that I don't get any of it on that blued steel that I painted in the first stage. Also, just being careful to avoid things like the skin tone areas, because I'm going to want to use a contrast paint for those, so I want those to stay nice and undercoat white at the moment. Just smooth that down there, run it over the trim that I've painted down the bottom. Just methodically working my way around. A bit more out of the pot to do the hat. And the shoulder pads over there. Anywhere that it just kind of pools, I'm just picking it up with my brush and moving it to another point, because I don't want a big, thick, dark splodge. I literally just want to shade the armor with this. You can use Seraphim Sepia for this, but I've got to be honest, I've tried a few different paints, and I think Agaros Dunes gives the best result for what I'm trying to achieve. There we go. All right. Again, I'll show you a quick close-up of that, but the plan now is to let this dry, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Whilst this one is drying, I'm going to quickly go through and do the Agaros Dunes on all the other members of the unit. The army is coming along nicely. Here we go. Here is a close-up. Next stage on the gold then is a Liberator armor highlight, leaving some of that shaded Retributor gold showing through. Just quickly work through it on this. Then the final touch after I do this is going to be just picking up some of the corners and the edges of this armor. So really kind of the most upraised points of the armor panels with some silver. Things like the edges of the van braces, the tips of the shoulder pads, and the fingertips, I think, along the edges of the fingers. There we go. Right, I'll quickly throw you up a close-up of him, and then I'll do the silver highlighting. Final stage on this gold then, and I'm back with my Runefang steel. And like I said, all I'm going to do is pick out just the top edges, so like the line along the back of the handplate there and there. Just picking out this makes the gold absolutely gleam.
The great thing about this kind of gold armor thing is you can use exactly the same approach for like Custodes, or I've used something similar for my Chaos Warriors. Just picking out the bits of gold on their otherwise dark and evil black armor plate. Along the bottom edge of there. I'll just do a little bit on the back there. And I think, yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. Show you a picture of that as a close-up. Here we go. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this. Please come back for the next video when I will be moving on to the blue cloth, and I'll be showing you how I do that, and you'll be able to see how the army is progressing. Otherwise, thanks very much. I'll catch you next time.